Hey, I'm John. This is my partner, my dad, Mark. We are Sean's Crazy Socks.
John's Crazy Socks. What's our mission?
Spreading happiness.
And we are so grateful to
Yes.
be able to appear and present at the Disability Rights Affirmation Conference. So we prepared a presentation that's really focused on look at the possibilities.
Right.
Look at what each of us can do, and look what the people we meet can do. So we're going to show you some slides and some videos, and I want to start at the very beginning. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Come along for the ride.
Come along, guys.
Consider this baby. This is John laying on my wife's chest on his first day of life. We did not know that John would be born with Down syndrome. Here's how we found out. The covering OB came into the room and said, "I'm so sorry. I have bad news for you. It appears that your son may have a slight case of Down syndrome." Now, this is awful, because what parents should hear is, "Congratulations, you have a son." But too often, parents hear it in that bad way. We need to change that. Now, here's how you get Down syndrome. All of us humans are born with 23 pairs of chromosomes. People with Down syndrome have a little bit extra. They have a third 21st chromosome. John says it's a little extra love. And that brings some common traits, intellectual challenges, low muscle tone. It takes John more energy to walk across a room than it might someone else. And some things are inconsequential. If you look at the palm of your hand, you have 3 creases running across it. People with Down syndrome only have 2. Who knows? But it also can bring some significant medical challenges. Like about 10% of people born with Down syndrome, John's intestine was not fully formed. And on day 3 of his life, he needed intestinal bypass surgery. We did not know if he could survive that operation. We brought a Catholic priest into the hospital to baptize him. He did survive. And John, like about 50% of people born with Down syndrome, had a significant heart defect. He had 2 holes in his heart. His heart couldn't keep up. He wasn't growing. We were measuring him in grams. And before he was 3 months old, our son was in full congestive heart failure. I held him in my arms, and he was literally turning blue. He needed open heart surgery. Again, we did not know if he could survive that operation, but he couldn't live without it. And he did survive. And as John began to grow, he faced challenges. When he was young, he couldn't talk. He learned sign language to communicate and used an assistive voice device. So I ask you, what chance did this baby have in our world? What could become of this child with these medical challenges where the world was right from the beginning looking on him as being a problem? And the answer is he could grow up to change the world. This is John testifying for the second time before the U.S. Congress. And John has spoken twice at the United Nations. He's gone on to start what is now the world's largest sock store, John's Crazy Socks, that employs 34 people, 22 of whom have a different ability, and has been named Entrepreneur of the Year by EY. If there's nothing else you take from our talk today, it is this. Look at the possibilities. Look at the possibilities in each of us, and look at the possibilities in the people we meet. Yes, John faced many challenges, but look at what he could become. Now, let me bring John back out. Well, now that you've heard about John at birth, let me reintroduce my partner, John Cronin, and make sure you understand just who John is, right?
Right, Dad.
You're an entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
You own the world's largest sock store, so you are a sock tycoon.
Yes, I am. I'm a sock tycoon.
You're a public speaker.
Yes, I am. I'm speaking.
You are speaking. You donate a lot of money. That makes you a philanthropist.
Yeah, I'm probably flying my wings.
You've been a Special Olympic athlete now for 22 years. That makes you an athlete.
Yes, I am. I'm a Special Olympic athlete.
You're a dancer.
Yes, I am.
You're a good friend.
I am a good friend.
You're a good brother.
I am a good brother.
You don't have a girlfriend right now.
No, I don't.
But you're very smooth.
Very smooth. And I am 27. I'm single and eligible.
27, single and eligible, huh? But you notice, all of those things, and you have Down syndrome.
Yes, I am.
What do you say about that?
I have Down syndrome. Down syndrome, and never hold me back.
It does not. And you see, John has Down syndrome, but that's only part of who he is. It doesn't overwhelm and it doesn't define him. He's all these things. And that's true about all of us. It keeps coming back. Look at what's possible. Look at what we can all do. So I thought we would tell people about John's Crazy Socks and how and why you got started.
Yeah, Dad.
All right, let's go back to our slides. And we're going to tell you the story of how John had the idea to start John's Crazy Socks. So, our story begins in the fall of 2016. And let me take you back to a small log cabin in the woods.
No.
No, our story starts on suburban Long Island outside New York City in a town called Huntington. And where were you?
I was at a Huntington High School. It could be my last school.
So you probably know this. Anywhere in the U.S., you can stay in the public school system until you either graduate or turn 21. It's often known as the 21-year-old cliff. And John was about to go over that cliff. And you were trying to figure out what comes next.
I did.
What were you looking at?
I like a job, program, and school. I don't like. I don't like.
And this is an unfortunate reality for too many people with different abilities. Only 1 in 5 people with a disability are employed in this country. It's awful. But John here, John is a natural entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
If you couldn't find a job, what were you going to do?
I want to create one. I want to make one.
And what'd you tell me?
I told my dad I want to go into business with my dad. A nice father time being together.
So I'm a lucky man.
Yes, you are.
I have 3 sons, and this is one I can work with.
Yes, I am.
So, okay, we'll go into business together. But now we had to figure out what were we going to do. What was one of your ideas?
Well, I made a food truck. I got an idea from the movie called Chef and John Farrow. A movie about a father and son buying a food truck.
So this seemed like a fun idea.
Right.
We get all excited. What would we make? Where would we put our food truck?
I love hot dogs.
Yeah, you're big into hot dogs, aren't you?
I know.
But we ran into a problem.
We can't cook.
Yeah, we can't cook. So it wasn't going to be a food truck. But then, right before the U.S. Thanksgiving, John had his eureka moment.
Yes, it did. I want to sell crazy socks. Why socks? It's fun. It's colorful. It's creative. It's always let me be me. I want to create socks my whole life.
We used to drive around looking for these socks. So we figured this. If John loved them that much, surely other people did too. And we could find our tribe.
Right.
So we went about setting up an online sock store. You already had the name.
Yeah, I got my name. I got my idea. I do a website.
You were the one that said we should sell online. So we went the lean startup route. We set up a website. We got a little bit of inventory. We were bootstrapping. In bootstrapping, we once got asked by a student, what does that mean? It means you have no money. But it means you have to make do with what you have.
Right.
So the only marketing we did was to set up a Facebook page. And I would take out my cell phone and we made videos. And who was in those videos?
I am. I talk about socks. Socks, and more socks.
And we saw something. Those videos started spreading. People were sharing them. And what day did we open?
We opened December 9th, 2016.
We weren't sure what to expect. But that first day, we got what felt like a flood of orders. We got 42 orders, and most of them were local.
Right.
Which made sense. We lived in Huntington. You were in Huntington High School. We had temporary office space. So how did we deliver those first orders?
Our home deliveries, we get red boxes. I see a picture over here. I put a chicken note I wrote and candy.
We loaded up the car and drove around, and you knocked on doors delivering.
Yes, I knock.
How'd the customers respond?
Customers loves it. I take a picture with me. I take a picture with the sock. Load the picture of a clipper and share it on social media. Word I get a spread.
We had customers ordering again just to get John to come back to their door.
Right.
And whole families would be waiting, taking pictures with John.
Absolutely.
So by the end of that month, really 2 weeks, we had shipped 452 orders, and we knew we had something. Because you learn by doing. So we learned one,
people want to buy socks. Two, people want to buy socks from me. I related to me.
They related to John. They liked that personal touch of the thank you note from John and the candy.
Yes.
And even if they weren't getting it themselves, they liked the home deliveries. They liked the fact we had already pledged 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics. And something caught us by surprise. We got a very emotional response from individuals and families because they saw a young man with Down syndrome starting his own business.
Right.
And you learn by doing. So we learned that this young man,
this old man,
we could sell socks.
Right.
So we've now grown the business. We're going to celebrate our 7th anniversary shortly. We've shipped 480,000 packages to 88 different countries. We've been able to create 34 jobs. 22 of those are held by people with different abilities. And we've raised over $650,000 for our charity partners. But we're going to show you a little video, which we'll share some scenes and information about what it is we do here at John's Crazy Socks. Oh, thank you very much.
My name is John. This is my partner, my dad, Mark. We are John's Crazy Socks.
And what's our mission?
Our mission is spreading happiness.
How many different socks do we have?
We have over 3,000 different kinds of socks.
You know what that means? John here is the owner of the world's largest sock store.
That's right.
And we have built our organization on 5 pillars.
1, interest and hope. 2, give it back. 3, fun products you can love. 4, make it personal.
And 5, make this a great place to work. Yes. Are you spreading happiness?
Yes.
A place where people are valued and respected and can do their best work. Making it personal, what goes in every package?
A vegan for me and candy.
And every packing slip has a picture and the name of the person who packed that order. Fun products you can love, we have to be a great e-commerce business. What we've created brings the power of business and social mission together. Pretty good.
Pretty awesome.
Giving back is baked into everything we do. We started by pledging 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics. John here has now donated over $450,000 to our charity partners and over $100,000 to the Special Olympics.
I just get started.
Just getting started.
Are you being a wise guy?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
The most important pillar to our business is inspiration.
And hope.
We want to show the world what people with differing abilities can do. More than half our colleagues have a differing ability because we focus on what people can do, not what they can't do. We are not blinded by somebody's limitations. We are awed by their possibilities.
Every day, I am always excited to work here.
What I like working is just being able to help others and being a team player.
I feel understood here. Like I can relate to these people because I have a disability and so do I.
That's not altruism. It's good business. They are ready, willing, and able to work.
They work so hard. It's incredible.
We've been so fortunate in what we've been able to do with this business, and it's given us a platform. That creates an obligation for us that we have to go and speak for others who may not be able to speak for themselves.
I want you to know what people like me can do. Give it a chance. Good job.
Because at the end of the day, we're a couple of knuckleheads selling socks, right?
Yeah, we are.
But all we want to do is change the world.
Absolutely.
So we hope you like that video. It kind of tells the story of what we do, huh?
I love it.
Right? So, as we spoke about that video, we have a slightly different type of business model. It's a social enterprise. So we have both a social and a business purpose, and they feed off of each other. This business world took a change going back to the 1960s. Best summed up when Milton Friedman, the economist and Fed Reserve chairperson, came out and announced that corporations only had one responsibility, and that was to their shareholders. We beg to differ. We think any organization has an obligation to all of its stakeholders, to its employees and customers and community and environment, in addition to stakeholders. You want to have a purpose, something that's bigger than ourselves. And for us, it's spreading happiness, right?
Yes, spread happiness.
And these are not idle words. This drives our decision making. It drives our budget allocations. It's everything we're about. And in that film, you heard us talk about our 5 pillars that we've built the business on. Inspiration and hope.
Inspire hope, give it back, find products you can love, and make it personal, and make it a great place to work.
And we're going to dive in a little bit on 2 of those. So, giving back is baked into everything we do. You already heard John say that gratitude and doing for others, well, those are the essential ingredients of happiness. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we don't think it's enough to just sell stuff. You got to give back. So we start by pledging 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics. And why the Special Olympics?
I am a Special Olympic athlete.
Yes, you are.
Yes, Dad.
What sports do you play?
I play basketball, track and field, soccer, and snowshoe.
Right. And how long have you been doing it?
22 years.
22 years. We'll tell you, if there was no Special Olympics, there'd be no John's Crazy Socks. But we've gone on to do more. We've created these awareness socks that celebrate causes and people, raise awareness, and raise money for charity partners. So what were the first awareness socks we created?
Very first one is a dinosaur awareness socks.
Down syndrome awareness socks. And who designed those?
I did. I did my design and I got ideas.
You did, right? John designed the world's first Down syndrome themed socks. And those raised money for the National Down Syndrome Society, NDSS, and
And ACTS.
that's where John went to preschool.
Yeah, I will go back there.
That arrow only goes forward, son.
Forward that. Yes.
So we have a line of autism themed products that raise money for the Autism Society of America and cerebral palsy awareness socks.
And also Emily.
Well, we have the pet rescue socks.
Rescue.
And we have tribute socks, like the police tribute socks we just introduced. We donate gift boxes and auction items. And this may be of interest to people in the audience. We sponsor an Autism Can Do scholarship. It's an annual scholarship. The top prize is $5,000. There are 3 of them. To use in any way to advance your education and development. So giving back is an essential part of what John's Crazy Socks does, and it's part of the experience we share with our customers because they're part of that giving back. But the most important pillar for us,
It's split and whole.
we want to show the world what people with different abilities can do. We start with John. You have
Yes.
Down syndrome,
Yes, I am.
and we don't hide you in the back.
No. I am in the front.
You're the face of the business.
Yes,
right?
I am.
We do it with our hiring. So more than half of our colleagues have a different ability. And there are little things we get to do. When we hire somebody, we have a ceremony. We all get together and present them with their business cards and their email address. It's a sign of their professionalism. And this here is when Thomas is getting his first paycheck. We always
Oh, that's
celebrate
amazing.
when people get their first paychecks because for many people, it's the first time they've ever had a job. But we have to do more than just hire people. We want to show the world. So we create content all the time. We're fortunate to have a large social media following. We got 240,000 followers on Facebook. You've got what, 65,000 followers on TikTok?
Yes.
Something similar on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. We want to show people as they are what they can do. So no broccoli, nothing that your mother says, sit down and eat this. This is good for you. It's got to be entertaining. It's got to be fun. We host tours. We've had more than 2,000 students come through our facility. We host work groups with social service agencies and high schools to give people just a little taste of work. We've had more than 1,000 people come through that program. And now we can offer them virtually. So we've had classes from around the world take tours of John's Crazy Socks. We take on speaking engagements. And that's why we're so grateful that we've been invited to speak here at the Fun and Feisty Caregiver Summit. Because we want to spread the word. We want to show the world. We want to reach out to people. So we've toured Canada and the US and Mexico for in-person events and spoken around the world in virtual events. You like that with the hands?
I love that.
And our business has put us in a position where people will listen to us. And that creates an obligation on our part to speak up for others. So we do a lot of advocacy work. We mentioned we've testified twice before the U.S. Congress, spoken twice at United Nations. We often meet with legislators to advocate for the rights of people with different abilities. And here's an example. You know the story I'm going to tell, right?
Yeah,
We're down on Capitol Hill one day, and we got a phone call in the office from a customer in Houston saying, my mom works on Capitol Hill, and she's a big fan of John's and would like to meet John. Do you think that's possible? And our colleague said, sure, and gave her my cell phone number and said, have your mother text Mark her contact info. Well, who was mom?
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi.
Yes.
So, the U.S., we're in a bad way. Too often,
Right.
if we disagree with people, we vilify them and we forget their humanity. So forget where you are in the political spectrum. Among other things, Nancy Pelosi, she's an 80-year-old Italian grandmother. We get to go in and meet with her, and she was so warm and nice to you.
So nice.
And she took out pictures of socks that she had given former President Bush, George H.W. Bush, because John here had somewhat famously become sock buddies with the former president.
I did.
And this is all warm and wonderful and nice. But then we have to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yes.
So we said, but Ms. Pelosi, we have to speak to you about repealing Section 14C of the Fair Labor Standard Act of 1938, which allows employers to pay people with a disability as little as 25 cents an hour. There are about 140,000 people being paid that way in the U.S. right now. It's outrageous. So we are working with many others to repeal that legislation and create new laws that give equal access to fair pay for everybody, including people with differing abilities. So that's what drives us here at John's Crazy Socks. And in creating this business, we have created a unified workplace where people with differing abilities work side by side, neurotypicals, if you will. We focus on what people can do, not what they can't do. And we're like any other business. We want to hire the best possible people for the salaries we can afford. To do that, you have to include everybody. If you artificially exclude a population, well, then you can't hire the best possible people. And I want to be clear.
Yes.
We're a business. It's not charity. We don't give jobs to anybody. If you got to know us, if you got to know John, you would know that he's a very nice guy.
Yes, I am.
I am not. If you're going to work for us, you have to produce. And that's part of the dignity. Everybody knows they belong. Everybody knows their job matters, and they're contributing to spreading happiness. And I'll give you a concrete example. So much of what we do is called fulfillment. And we're an e-commerce business. We sell online. People go to johnscrazysocks.com.
Right.
They buy socks. They place an order. When it comes in, you got to pick it, pack it, and send it out. So we run our own pick and pack warehouse. Anybody who sells online, you have to be able to fulfill orders. We run our own because we're looking to create jobs and because we try to personalize the service we provide. So what do we call our pickers?
Sock wranglers.
Sock wranglers. And there's John Schneider
Yeah,
on your
John
screen.
Schneider.
He's a great sock wrangler. To get the job, you have to be able to work on your own. You have to be able to show up and have basic life skills. Your job coach or staff person or your parents can bring you, but they can't stay with you. We literally would not have enough room in our warehouse. Here's the hiring process.
Right.
First, you meet with John and me.
Yeah, me and my dad.
Because we want you to understand our mission and our values and how we operate. We also want to make sure that you want to be there, that you're not there because mom and dad want you to be there or a job coach wants you to be there. Then we'll train you. And one of our current sock wranglers will train you. You've trained people, right?
I train.
You like doing that?
I love it, Dad.
Our sock wranglers love that.
It's
And when it's
amazing.
time, you have to pass the sock wrangler test. You have to pick 6 orders in 20 minutes or less. You have to show us you can do the job. Nothing extraneous. We're not asking you to do anything not related to the job, but show us you can do the job. If you pass the test, you get the job. And this, again, is part of the dignity. Everybody who works with us knows they earn that job. They deserve to be there. There's no make-work job. There's no cog in the machinery. Everybody is working towards that mission. If you ask John Schneider, in fact, yesterday somebody interviewed him and said, well, what's your job about? His answer, I'm spreading happiness.
I love that.
You love that, don't you? And so what are the results of hiring people with differing abilities? Well, better morale. It's a happy place.
Yes.
Better retention. In a day and age when people are quitting jobs, nobody leaves.
Except one.
Oh, right, one. And it's all John's
That's
fault.
my fault.
You're taking responsibility now.
Yes, I am.
Christy, who had worked with us for 5 years or more,
Yes. She
and
was.
we're managing our social media and email. She left, and she said it was John who inspired her to leave. Well, Christy left to become a special education teacher. So we think that's pretty cool, right?
Yes,
She's finished school now. She got her first full-time job. We're really happy for Christy. But the unified workplace produces better productivity, and it helps us recruit. So, the lesson from that, we want to speak to other businesses. There's a changing world of work out there. Employers, we hear all the time, they tell us they can't find enough good workers. There's a growing labor shortage in much of the West, in the US and in other countries. At the same time, we have this vast untapped pool of labor with people with differing abilities. It's easy, let's match them up. And we hear things like, oh, but it would be expensive, and what about adaptations, and oh, it could be scary. I listened to another warehouse operator that we were encouraging to hire people. We heard that this guy tell me, well, it's different, Mark. We have heavy machinery. Well, John here crosses our parking lot every day, and you haven't been hit by a car in weeks, have you?
Yeah, I know that. I never hit it week a day.
Or consider this. One of the things we know, if we want to change a process, we can't just do it willy-nilly. We have to be very clear. We have to be able to be very thoughtful about it. We have to communicate it. We have to make sure everybody knows what's going on. Because, if we just change without advance warning, many of our colleagues, that would be very difficult for them. Many of our colleagues, particularly on the autism spectrum, you can't upset them like that. Well, now I ask you, being thoughtful and documenting and clearly communicating changes in process, is that an adaptation? Or is that just good business? Did that make us a better business? And what we have found, and other businesses have found, is hiring people with differing abilities gives you a competitive advantage. Where others can't find enough good workers, we have a surplus. Companies like Microsoft have found when they changed their hiring process, it gave them the ability to hire more programmers. That gave them a competitive advantage. IBM will tell you the story about how they've hired one person with autism who changed some of their software offerings, won new patents, and earned an award as the Employee of the Year. So we see this world changing. And it's to the advantage of people with differing abilities. But we've gone on about kind of big picture things. It all comes down to the personal. So we want to tell you the story about Thomas. This is Thomas here. He's one of our sock rankers.
Yes.
You like talking about Thomas, don't you?
I do.
So Thomas's mother first called us up in October of 2017. She said, I hear you hire people like my son. I want you to hire my son. And our colleagues said, well, we don't have any openings, and we'll post it on our website, our social media when we do. Well, she called every day because she's a mom. And I spoke to her and I said, tell me about Thomas. She said, well, he's in his early 20s. He's on the autism spectrum. He's fairly nonverbal, but not completely so. And he's in a bad way. He's very depressed. We can't get him to join any programs. We have trouble just getting him to come out of his room. Doesn't want to shower or shave. And he hasn't spoken to his father in over 6 months. Well, that sounds like a wonderful employee. When we had an opening, we said, bring Thomas out. And Thomas passed that sock wrangler test as if he was put on this earth to be a sock wrangler. He does such a great job. And today, the young man in that picture there, when he comes into when he's working, he is up at 6:30 in the morning, showered and shaved, and waiting for his father to drive him an hour to work. And when he comes in the building, he goes around to everybody and wishes them a good morning. And I want to be really clear. We did nothing. We have no special training, no special programs, no government support. All we did was give Thomas the opportunity to earn a job. And what a job he does, huh?
He did.
So, what we want to leave you with is the idea that a better world awaits. We're moving from awareness to acceptance. John, you're 27.
Yes, I am.
And the world is so much better now than it was even 27 years ago. And we're working to make the achievements of people with different abilities less remarkable. If after watching this, you go out and stop at a Starbucks and you see a person working there with Down syndrome, you're going to say something to somebody. You're going to remark on it. That makes it remarkable. Well, we want it to be so typical that you don't say anything, that we no longer remark on it, that it's no longer remarkable. So thanks to people like you, a better world does await. Pretty good, right?
Good.
All right. Well, John, we've covered a lot, huh?
Yeah, we did.
We've spoken about the possibilities in everybody. We told you the story of John's crazy socks and of the social enterprise we've created with the unified workplace where people with different abilities work side by side, neurotypicals.
Right.
We have spoken about the power and dignity of work and the changing workplace. Let's send people out on a high note, John. What's your advice?
My advice, follow your heart, follow your dreams, work hard, so you can do.
Yeah, so you can do it. All right, folks. Well, we are John.
I'm John.
And Mark.
Mark, my father.
From John's Crazy Socks. Where can people get great socks?
You can find us at johnscrazysocks.com.
All right. Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Have a wonderful day.